EDSA, a road where cars, motorcycles, buses, taxis, jeepneys, and even trains and trucks for specific hours all intertwine. The one at the utmost right side of the road, the bicycle. EDSA's bike lane has been a very buzzy topic in the media, with many cyclists relying on the road to traverse throughout the metro. However, the question remains, is EDSA bikeable? How safe is the longest road in Metro Manila for cyclists? How tough is it to cycle? Well, to answer these questions, I set myself the journey to bike the entirety of EDSA, from Monumento, Caloocan to the Mall of Asia, Pasay, a total of 23 kilometers. And trust me, this was a very bumpy journey, a lot of ups and downs. So watch me suffer as I dance with cars, motorcycles, and jeepneys as I try to answer the question, is EDSA bikeable? I arrived in Monumento, Caloocan at 11:17 AM. I stationed at the start of the southbound lane of Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, more commonly known as EDSA, a 6-lane highway named after a Filipino historian. It's a part of the ring road system of the metro, designated as the 4th circumferential road of Metro Manila. It's one of the most infamous roads in the Philippines due to its notorious traffic and significance in bordering business districts and cultural relevance. However, road conditions vary as the avenue traverses throughout 5 cities, including the importance of bike infrastructure. Just a heads up, my camera is not the best. Only worth about like $20, so don't expect like clean audio.
Monumento circle, I guess. It's the start of EDSA. Kasi maintenance ako na maintenance first because I haven't maintenance yet.
So after pumping up the tires and lubing the chain, our journey starts now. Also, I'll try to revive some of the things I was saying here. Try.
You can see right there, look at that pothole, bro.
We're approaching the first challenge of our journey, the Balintawak interchange. Because of its incline, connection to the North Luzon Expressway, and cloverleaf interchange design, you'll be weaving through cars exiting and entering the expressway within just meters apart. We got past the interchange smoothly. By this time, I had forgotten to start my Strava. We then passed through Fernando Poe Jr. Avenue, or Roosevelt Avenue, or Munoz, or Congressional Avenue. This place has a lot of names, okay? We then reached SM North EDSA and West Avenue. You have to be a bit more attentive of cars entering the avenue. By this time, the road condition of EDSA between Caloocan and Quezon City, there were large ditches, unmaintained lane markings, and it was very bumpy. But since it was a holiday at the time, we didn't have to be invaded by motorists, so that was at least good. Passing by North EDSA, I then noticed an ominous sign. Anyway, passing by Quezon Avenue and the footbridge in EDSA Kamuning, where the video about that where I climbed it is on the top right of the video. But before being able to pass the footbridge, disaster strikes. It started raining badly. I waited about 15 minutes until the rain calmed down, where I continued the journey, as the area underneath the station I was waiting in was kind of flooding. Ironically, this part of EDSA is right in front of a DPWH office. By this time, my camera was starting to lose battery fast, so I had to conserve on footage. So we passed by Timog Avenue, Kamuning, and Aurora Boulevard, Cubao. After crossing Aurora Boulevard, it seems as though the rain did not hit this part of the city. Progress was slow but steady, eventually reaching Boni Serrano, Ortigas, Mega Mall, sa Boulevard, and the Pasig River, going to the Guadalupe Bridge and entering Makati. By this rate, I was starting to get fatigued since I haven't been biking much recently, but I was still powering through it. I guess. Road quality did improve between Ortigas and Serrano, but for most of the time, including the bridge, the road condition was fairly bad. Entering Makati didn't improve much either. Passing through Guadalupe, Estrella, Buendia, and Ayala Center, the bike lane was practically non-existent at most times. Road conditions did improve, but biking ability definitely decreased, especially after they removed the bollards and poorly maintained road markings. This is honestly a disappointment considering that Makati's business districts have one of the best bike infrastructure in the region. Now we're at the last 7 kilometers, approaching Magallanes and going through Pasay. We're at the last stretch of the journey. All we have to do now is continue along the road and the challenge will come to an end. Wait, why is he turning right? I thought we were biking the entirety of EDSA. Why are we turning right? Well, I did not say this at the beginning of the video, but biking the entirety of EDSA is nearly impossible. The southern section of EDSA is cut in half by the Osemeña Highway, which eventually turns into the South Luzon Expressway. Connecting EDSA is the Magallanes interchange, which is possible to cycle, but it is not advisable for people who are not trained to bike on overpasses. Those people are a different breed. So the only way to actually continue biking on EDSA without going up meters above would be going through other roads. So the question is, where is he even going? He's biking on the Osemeña Highway. By the way, this highway is wider than EDSA and there are barely any stop signs. So vehicles are zooming at 60 miles per hour with trucks and buses. Even if there is a bike lane on the highway, I just don't recommend biking on Osemeña Highway until you are actually trained enough to not shit your pants. In terms of road infrastructure, it's good, but the bike infrastructure is not optimal for that condition. I mean, it's possible to bike, but it's not good. Taking a right turn, we continue on our journey to EDSA as we enter the last part of the challenge, Pasay. As much as I hate to admit this, but Pasay has consistent road conditions on EDSA, and the shift between Makati and Pasay is not night and day. Personally, I think it's because of Unda, so there's just not a lot of cars. That will be the only time I will ever compliment the city in this video, because bike infrastructure is non-existent. Pair that up with traffic and bad traffic regulations, and good luck even using the bike lane without someone being parked there. It does get better past Rojas Boulevard and into the Bayside City. On the horizon, the last kilometer, the final stretch, our journey will come to an end. 23 kilometers, almost 2.5 hours of biking, we made it. Excuse him, he's on the verge of dying and the camera was dead, so sorry for the incomprehensibility.
24 kilometers. I don't know what the time is. Is it 2? I think it's 2, right? I don't know. I'll just check my Strava later. Yeah. Okay, my battery is gonna die, but it was an experience, 24 kilometers. It's bikeable, man. Peace.
I then ate at LHX and went home. But the question remains, is EDSA bikeable? Well, the answer is, well, you watch me bike the entirety of EDSA and a guy climbing up an overpass. If you have the guts, you can bike anywhere. Now the question is, how bikeable is EDSA? Well, to answer this question, I will divide EDSA up into 5 sections and rating each section to its corresponding city, from Monumento to Balintawak, the city of Caloocan. General road condition varies, with the most I can give is a 7, but I will give it a 6 because of drainage cover situated on the bike lane. There are a few climbs, but it's mostly flat terrain. For bike infrastructure, it's a 3, because of poor management of road markings and a lack of general bike infrastructure. I mean, it's just a painted lane, which also counts as a shared lane for motorcycles. Basically the definition of the bare minimum level of bike infrastructure. The Caloocan section of EDSA gets a total of 4.5 out of 10, from Balintawak all the way to Ortigas, the big boy Quezon City. Road condition gets a flat 5. Inconsistent road infrastructure. Yeah, so I kind of forgot that Sun 1 also has a small part of EDSA. I decided to just combine it with this section. Numerous of climbs, drainage issues, and the amount of overpasses and underpasses that make EDSA any less bike friendly. Bike infrastructure gets a 4. Road markings are more consistent, but the markings are all over the place. The Quezon City section of EDSA also gets a 4.5 out of 10. From Ortigas to the Pasay River, the city of Mandaluyong, road infrastructure gets a 6 as well due to the old and bumpy pavement. Biking infrastructure gets a 5 because it's still the bare minimum. The Mandaluyong section gets a 5.5 out of 10. From the Pasay River all the way to Maglanes, the city of Makati, road infrastructure gets a 6 because of its consistent road conditions, but consistent climbs and unfriendly road design. Bike infrastructure would have gotten an 8 if they didn't remove the bollards. Now it's a 4 because of consistent stopping areas and lack of roadside infrastructure, and lane markings barely exist in the Maglanes interchange. The Makati section gets a 5 out of 10. Lastly, from Maglanes all the way to the Mall of Asia, the city of Pasay, road infrastructure gets a 4 because of inconsistent road conditions and regulations, but gets a lot better in the Bayside area. Bike infrastructure gets a 4 because of the Magallanes interchange and traffic issues, but it's once again saved by the Bayside area. The Pasay section gets a 4 out of 10, mostly because of the Bayside area. I've been using a mountain bike, by the way, so for other bikes such as road bikes, the road conditions on EDSA is so bad. The lacking bike infrastructure also makes biking feel unsafe. I mean, it's to be expected from a car-first mindset when these bike lanes only existed during the pandemic. Biking in Metro Manila is not for everyone. Sure, you can bike in BGC or Ayala because it actually thinks about bikes. EDSA is a car-first road. It was built to keep cars going. So while EDSA and Osemeña Highway are bikeable, just because they have a bike lane does not mean that they were made for bikes in mind. That's the harsh truth of being a cyclist in Metro Manila, especially when you live in dense areas. Road hierarchy does not favor the bike if it prioritizes cars. Look, I'm not trying to persuade you into thinking that biking is a dangerous sport, because it already is. Being a pedestrian is also dangerous. Barely any room for walkways while roads are made 5 lanes wide and you're forced into walking through high-speed traffic. I wanted to prove something in this video. Not only we can do things that we thought we couldn't. I mean, I believed that I would never ride a bike because I didn't know how to balance it, but also understand that there is a difference from survival with acceptance. You can survive, but choosing to accept the constant fight for survival are 2 different things. We deserve better. We deserve better walkways, better footbridges, better roads, better bike lanes, better transportation, better infrastructure, a better time existing.